everybody, another week, another night, another movie, and I just got done watching 1980s American Gigolo, starring Richard Gere, Lauren Hutton, Hector Elizondo and Bill Duke. This one I've never watched before. It was in the cellophane until I just watched it. And yeah, this is one of those ones that I'd heard a lot about, especially, you know, it was kind of a bit taboo at the time, you know, supposedly quite explicit and that, and it's not. I mean, it even has an 18 rating, which makes me wonder why, but I guess that's the joy of how ratings change these days and how desensitized we've kind of become. But yeah, it tells a story of Julian, played by Richard Gere, who is this male escort primarily for older ladies, and he gets kind of duped into going to this other job by Leon, played by Bill Duke, who's more geared for the homosexual gigolo society. And it turns out that this job that Julian gets sent to is a bit of a kinky job. It's about this guy who wants to watch while his wife gets slapped around. And the next thing Julian knows is the wife has been killed and he's been framed for the job. Meanwhile, there's Michelle, played by Lauren Hutton, who he encounters, and it turns out she's married to a senator, but they grow closer, and this, that and the other, and it's really following as, you know, while Julian's, the first half is showing his job and him meeting with these older ladies and that, and then him meeting with Michelle, and then it moves on to the murder and trying to watch as he goes, no, I'm being framed, and tries to figure stuff out, and especially who is framing him. But that's all there is. And the problem is there's not much substance here. The story is obvious, but it's all very, I mean, Hector Elizondo's detective Sunday is so laid back, and you think he's being pally, which I know is a process and stuff, but then all of a sudden he's like, no, I totally think you're guilty. He does this whole Columbo thing, you know. I mean, even to the point of having just one more thing, Mr. Fuck, what was Julian's surname? Anyway, I can't remember if it was Trey or something. Anyway, but then it's just like, you don't really feel any pressure from the police. You see Julian panicking and turning to his employers, and who are all like doing this turf war thing and that, and you see him getting closed off and that. But other than that, I didn't really feel any real like high pressure tenseness or that from any of the elements. And to be honest, I really didn't buy the relationship between Michelle and Julian. It was all very forced and all very just hollow. I don't think there's any other way to really explain it. How it came across to me, anyway. And it's a shame, because I know Richard Gere is an excellent actor, and I've always enjoyed him in roles. I just feel, especially not helping, is the recent Officer and a Gentleman, which I thought was a bit flat. This one just really, and I don't know if it was because this had been really geared up as this kind of you know, explicit kind of movie and that, but there's no explicit sex here. There's no violence, there's no gore or anything like that. I guess the reason why it's 18 rated is because of Julian's job. Maybe that's a big deal. I don't know. Just didn't see anything, you know, giving the reason for this to be like an NC-17 18 rated movie. And it's an hour and 50 minutes long, and it just drags. And I guess they're going for the slow build, the thriller style, but I didn't feel any urgency, like I say, with the whole police hunting Julian down or, you know, threatening him and stuff. And even worse is the ending, where you then have like this series of like half a dozen mini scenes that fade from black and then fade out to black, as you're seeing Julian like be arrested, and then he's like, you know, he gives in. He's just like, yeah, I got nothing to say. You know, even after he knows that Leon set him up, he's just like, yeah, whatever. And the last 6 scenes feel completely pointless. And then Michelle out of nowhere is just like, oh no, he couldn't have done it because he was with me. And then he goes to her in another short scene, and he's like, you didn't have to do this, do that and that. And she's like, oh no, I couldn't do it. I love you. And then that's the end of the movie. We get no closure for anything. We have no, like, proper, you know, the real reason why he wasn't, you know, he wasn't his real alibi, which was, the character was that he was with Kay Callan's character, who's this elderly lady, and, you know, her husband's like, no, she couldn't have been with you, this and the other. You know, we get no closure on that front. It's all just left open, and yeah, it was like the director didn't know what to do at the end, had no clue on how to end a movie. It's written and directed by the same guy, and yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember. I'm not going to risk it. Yeah, this is complete. It's not a bad movie. It's not the most awful movie I've ever seen or anything like that. I just felt like there was no substance here. There's no real tension, no real... Every now and then I feel like I'm getting insight into the characters, but other than that, I just didn't feel any of the chemistry or anything like that. To be honest, I can only give it a 5. I didn't turn it off halfway through. I wasn't completely put off by it, but it's not one I'm going to be rushing to watch again because, frankly, it just bored me. I understand why a lot of people might like this. There is something very noirish about it. Film noirish. It's not film noir, obviously, but I think that they're going for that kind of style at times. But otherwise, there's not much here to talk about. Not directorially, not anything. So I'm sorry. I'm really gutted. I think maybe this was bigged up to me too much, and I've come away disappointed as a result and let down. But yeah, there's just not much else to say about this. That's 1980s American Gigolo. I'm sorry this has been short and has about as much substance as this movie does, but it's difficult when you've got no material to work with. There's really nothing to bother wasting time with. We'll be back again tomorrow with another movie. Fingers crossed it's finally something decent. At least something I can give a decent, like, viewpoint on. But for now, guys, please, for whatever reason, like and subscribe. Take care. Thanks for watching. But for now, this is Sketch. Signing out.